This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 5 o'clock on your Tuesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this July 7th.
They started dragging me towards a tree, got me pinned down, and started pounding on my body. It was you could feel the anger and the intent to try to hurt me.
An alleged racially motivated attack, all caught on camera down in Monroe County. This morning, we're hearing from the victim. Plus, a peaceful protest against that alleged attack last night turns violent when a woman drives her vehicle through the crowd. We'll have the very latest from Bloomington. And the coronavirus pandemic keeps growing in the U.S. This morning, a new warning from health officials about so-called silent spreaders. But first, we do want to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. Todd Clausen is home right now taking a look at what we need to grab before we head out on the roads today for our Tuesday. Todd, what do we need to know?
Well, at this point, I think you could probably guess it, Lauren, because I haven't changed this graphic, as I told you yesterday, in several days. You'll need the sunglasses. You definitely need to have a lot of water in your system so you don't get dehydrated, and make sure you wear the sunscreen. And as far as the umbrella goes, I didn't check it off, but just like yesterday, we'll have the ability to flare up some isolated downpours here and there across central Indiana, and some of those downpours will contain a little bit of lightning. Temperatures this morning are sitting in the 70s, and where you go, 74 in Indy, 75 in Muncie, 72 is the current temperature in Terre, Haute, as well as Bloomington this morning. A little bit of haze out there. That's just the humidity that we are dealing with, and there's been a few very, very spotty showers trying to get going this morning, and it's none of the question you could see a quick sprinkle this morning. The better chance of storms, though, will be later on this afternoon as we start to build in the daytime heating, very similar to yesterday. The storms will produce some heavy downpours and some lightning, and that should be just about it. Not expecting any severe weather today with highs in the low 90s, but heat index values, Lauren, once again today, anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this Tuesday. Here is our camera at I-465 and West 10th Street. This is over on the west side of town. You can see police flashing lights right there on your screen. No word on if this is a crash or just someone being pulled over, but keep that in mind. Watch for crews out there and police officers. Make sure you move over and give them plenty of space this morning. We'll continue to monitor that, as well as a crash we're monitoring at 30th and College. Well, it is 5:03, and an incident that was partially caught on camera over the weekend where a man says he was attacked and almost lynched sparks outrage and protests in Monroe County. Our Kelsey Anderson kicks off our team coverage this morning with more on what the alleged victim is saying and how the city of Bloomington is responding. Kelsey.
In a video that has now gone viral, Vox Booker says men can be seen holding him against his will, shouting white power and other racial slurs. He says the men also threatened to lynch him.
Nappy-headed. What do you want to call me? About this? You with your 5 white friends? You stupid liberal.
The mayor of Bloomington has condemned what he saw in a series of videos that have now gone viral, being shared thousands of times. The video shows several men holding a black man against a tree with his arms behind his back, allegedly threatening to lynch him. Booker says he and some friends went to watch the lunar eclipse on the 4th of July at Lake Monroe. A group of men informed them that the route they were taking to get to the public access beach was on private property. But then things got hostile, leaving Booker with a minor concussion, abrasions, and patches of hair ripped out.
There was a moment where a white woman that was standing by yelled out not to kill me. And as I was underneath these men struggling to breathe, I realized that she was talking about me, not to kill me. What went through my mind is I could be the next person like that, or I could be that next hashtag.
Booker says what saved his life was friends and other bystanders staying by his side and refusing to leave. Booker called the police and the Department of Natural Resources came, but no arrests were made at the scene. DNR says its law enforcement division is working with the Monroe County prosecutor to, quote, ensure lawful resolution. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you. So this act of violence drew hundreds of protesters to Bloomington Monday night in what started out as a peaceful demonstration in support of Vox Booker ended with injuries. Our Alyssa Donovan continues our team coverage. She is live in Bloomington in front of where it all happened. Alyssa, things look quiet now. That was not the case last night. Give us all the details.
That's right, Lauren. It was a peaceful protest going on here. It was just at the corner of 6th and Walnut, which is just down the block from where we are now, when everything changed. Hundreds of protesters were out here at that time. Right around 9 p.m. is when everything changed. A car came barreling down the street and it hit two people. Now, that barreled into protesters. It hit a woman and a man. That woman was on the hood of the car, and another man who was hit was hanging onto the window. We spoke with that man after the incident. Somehow he was uninjured.
A woman driving the vehicle came up to the stop and had started revving her engine towards us, and we tried to stop her and let her know that the crowd is clearing up, just wait a second. But she and her passenger both wanted to go right away, so they started to push, and they pushed into the woman that was with me, and when she pushed again, both of us went on the vehicle. I was just trying to block her vision so she would slow down. So I tried to pull myself as far in her way to make kind of obstruct her view. But she drove through red lights and made her turn up here that threw both of us off the car.
And right now, we do not have information on the woman's identity or her condition. We do know that at the time of the incident, Bloomington police were nearby. They responded quickly, as well as the Bloomington fire officials. They came to the scene as well. This incident is right now under investigation. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. It is 5:07, and Indianapolis Public Schools Commissioner is now taking action to address discipline disparities in our classrooms. It's a problem Call 6 investigates brought to light last fall. Black students more likely to be disciplined and even arrested at school. 73% of IPS students are Black or Hispanic, yet they make up 84% of out-of-school suspensions. One district commissioner wants to make changes to address the problem. Vanita Moore's proposal would require all IPS police officers to attend racial equity training and ensure the district prohibits employing officers with a history of excessive force or discrimination complaints.
And if we do not do something about the education that we've been providing our children in public schools, we're not, our kids, I mean, they have no hope, they have no reason to. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I feel is very, very important.
Commissioner Moore's plan would also launch a curriculum review, including civil rights education and training for students. She hopes to work with the administration to come up with a plan within the next 90 days that addresses disproportionate suspension and expulsion rates among Black students. The time is 5:08 now to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak and how it continues to impact Indiana. The State Department of Health confirming 330 new cases of the virus. Health officials reporting 4,912 people were newly tested. 5 new COVID-19 deaths were also reported, and that brings the total number of Hoosiers who have lost their lives to COVID-19 to 2,505. In total, more than 526,000 people have been tested for COVID-19. 9.2% of them tested positive. And this morning, there are more than 2.9 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 across the country. That's according to Johns Hopkins University. And medical experts warn the country is still heading in the wrong direction. A new study finding so-called silent spreaders, those are who are asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, may be responsible for half of the country's COVID-19 cases. New cases are surging in at least 32 states, and some fear that a lack of social distancing during the July 4th weekend may cause those numbers to keep climbing. So if you have coronavirus symptoms or if you're in a high-risk group, the Marion County Health Department is still offering free testing. We want you to know that the locations are changing. Beginning on Thursday, drive-through testing will be available at the Health Department's South District office. That's located on Shelby Street, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The testing outside the Health Department's main office will continue Monday through Friday. You can learn more and register to be tested at marionhealth.org/IndyCovid. And for more information about statewide coronavirus testing, you can head right now to the IndyChannel.com. It is 5:10 on our Tuesday. It has been hot and muggy across central Indiana, and Todd, we know that's going to continue today.
Yeah, and more of the same, Lauren. Back into the 90s with the storm chances that'll be popping up in the afternoon hours. And I've been saying really now for several weeks, if you want to work out and you have the opportunity to do so, do it early compared to later in the afternoon when we're dealing with all the heat and the humidity. This morning it's muggy, so you'll still work up a sweat, but at least the temperatures aren't up in the 90s. We're in the 70s here throughout the morning hours, 75 by 8 a.m., but by 9 a.m., the temperature is probably already pushing the 80-degree mark. It's dry this morning. Yesterday evening, we flared up, and in the afternoon hours as well, those isolated downpours, and we had all these outflow boundaries, which are essentially winds coming out of the storm, and those boundaries created additional storms, and expecting more of the same. There's no front coming through. There's no line of storms today. It's just going to be the pop-up storms during the afternoon hours as high temperatures top off anywhere from about 90 to 95 degrees. Once again, all across the area, and that's going to put the heat index values, Lauren, anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you. Remains have been found in Texas, and they've been identified as missing Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen. Straight ahead, why investigators say she couldn't be identified by her dental records alone. And a global movement is challenging you to cut out single-use plastics for a day, a week, or even an entire month. After the break, how you can participate in Plastic-Free July. It is 5:11. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In front of a studio audience tonight on ABC.
Welcome back. It is 5:14. Remains found in Texas last week have been confirmed to be those of Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen. Investigators say she was killed by a fellow soldier who died by suicide. Cicely Aguilar is charged with conspiracy to tamper with evidence. Authorities say that she admitted to helping her boyfriend, Aaron Robinson, dismember and hide Guillen's body back in April. Investigators say Guillen's face had been beaten so badly they could not use dental records to identify her. An attorney for Guillen's family said that Guillen reported sexual harassment to her family and other soldiers at the base. Robinson was a suspect in Guillen's disappearance, but was not involved in the sexual harassment investigation, according to investigators. Military leaders at the highest level are working on a plan that would ban the Confederate flag from being displayed at all bases. Right now, it's just a draft, but it's been circulating for the last week or so. Leaders have argued the flag is divisive and it gets in the way of fighting units coming together as a team. But the move could end up pitting the Joint Chiefs of Staff and senior military leaders against President Trump, who's been defending Confederate symbols. There's already a ban on displays of the flag at Marine bases. The Navy, Army, and Air Force military chiefs and their civilian counterparts have been working on similar bans. Well, Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, are speaking out against racism. In a newly released video for the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, the couple said the British Commonwealth must confront its colonial past. Britain's colonization of the 54 countries that make up the Commonwealth has been reassessed in the wake of the recent global anti-racism protests. During this virtual discussion, the Sussexes praised the Black Lives Matter movement for bringing light to both big and small instances of racial injustice.
We can't deny or ignore the fact that all of us have been brought up and educated to see the world differently. However, once you start to realize that there is that bias there, then you need to acknowledge it. Exactly what you're saying.
Well, and I think so much of what we're seeing as well is that, you know, it's not even in the big moments, right? It's in the quiet moments where racism and unconscious bias lies, and as you've said, lies and hides and thrives.
Well, Harry and Meghan and the president and vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, which was launched in 2018 to fund and connect young leaders who are working hard to change the world. The couple did step down as senior working royals earlier this year, and they've since been living in Los Angeles. Another member of the royal family is also back in the headlines. A newly released photograph shows Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell sitting on a throne in Buckingham Palace. The Daily Telegraph, which featured this first published image, says that Maxwell and then boyfriend actor Kevin Spacey were invited to the throne room by Prince Andrew. Experts say if the prince was involved, it speaks to the close relationship between him and Maxwell. Neither Buckingham Palace nor Prince Andrew's private office have commented on this photograph. Maxwell is facing charges in New York for taking part in Epstein's alleged sex trafficking ring. With single-use plastic seeming more COVID-friendly, this year's Plastic-Free July may be a bit more challenging. But the Australia-based Plastic-Free Foundation is encouraging people to do what they can, whether that be giving up single-use plastic for a day, maybe a week, or even an entire month. The global movement is an effort to raise awareness for cleaner streets, waterways, and communities. Plastic Free July is now in its 9th year. It is 5:18 though on our Tuesday. Let's check in with Todd and see what we can expect in our Tuesday forecast. Todd, more of the same.
Yeah, you know, more heat, more humidity, and storm chances. I really need one of these storms, though, Lauren, just to hit my house, and so I can get some water on some of my trees and flowers, and my lawn starting to brown up just a little bit. But they've been really feast or famine. Some of you have seen numerous storms over the past few days, and some of you, like myself, haven't seen much rain at all. But over the next 3 days, highs will remain in the 90s. Heat index values will remain anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees, and we'll have that daily chance of an isolated thunderstorm. The pool will be a great place to be, or anywhere to cool off until we get some of those thunderstorms in the area. Then obviously you need to seek shelter, especially if you hear some thunder or you see a lightning. So as we go throughout the course of the day today, my forecast high is 92. The record high, just like yesterday, is 105, set back in 2012. It was a 2-day stretch there that we hit 105 degrees back in 2012. Thankfully, we are not in that range of temperatures with this air mass we've been in for the past week or so, but we definitely do have the humidity around. A live look outside shows, as you look at the lights there across the city skyline, the little bit of haze, and that's just that moisture, the humidity that is present in the atmosphere. Temperatures in the 70s this morning anywhere you go. The humidity is high, so it's a pretty uncomfortable morning, but at least the temperatures are in the 70s, and so if you're thinking about getting a workout in, the earlier the better, because by the noon hour already pushing about 88 to 89 degrees for your high temperature, with highs eventually today topping off in the low 90s, and then even at 6 p.m. temperatures will still be in the 80s. Your satellite radar picture, it shows not a whole lot going on, but it wouldn't be a complete surprise if there's a quick passing sprinkle somewhere this morning, just because it's not going to take much for the rain to get going in spots. But the best chance is going to be during the afternoon hours, during the peak heating of the day. You know the drill at this point. You'll start to see the cumulus clouds billow up, and then they'll start to produce some rain, and it's going to be very spotty. Not expecting any severe weather. It's just a pop-up storm here or there with some lightning and also some heavy downpours, and that is just about it. Now, rain chances today are spotty, and they're spotty tomorrow. Once we get to the end of the week, though, that's when the rain chances are going to start to ramp up a little bit, and the rain will become a little more widespread. And the reason is a front is going to come through on Friday, and that's going to wring out a lot of this moisture that we have in the atmosphere in the form of the humidity. So it's possible Friday, numerous storms across the area as we work our way into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Still some minor storm chances over the course of the weekend, but they're pretty spotty with high temperatures in the upper 80s, 87 on Monday. But the difference is you will start to see the humidity drop a little bit once that front, Lauren, goes through Friday evening.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at our traffic now maps. We are monitoring a crash here on the north side of town. Be aware of this one. Multiple vehicles involved in a crash at 30th Street and College Avenue. We don't have many other details confirmed from police right now, but this may be a spot you want to avoid. You may want to take Central Avenue or other side streets just to get around that intersection. And of course, we'll keep you updated as we get new information. Well, Uber is expanding its meal delivery service by taking over Postmates. Its all-stock deal is worth $2.65 billion. In its statement, Uber called the startup highly complementary to Uber Eats, its own meal delivery service. Uber Eats has been viewed as a bright spot for the company, especially as people are increasingly staying at home during the coronavirus pandemic. Uber wanted to buy Grubhub a few weeks ago, but it lost its bid to a Netherlands-based company. Burger King is giving us a mini guilt-free version of their yummy shakes. The fast food chain has rolled out a group of 9-ounce shakes, and they only have 22 calories. The shake comes in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla flavors. It's topped with whipped cream, and new treats are available online and only at participating Burger King locations. It's only $1. Well, there is a new water coaster launching this season at Holiday World, and you can be one of the first people to ride it. We do have your chance to win tickets. That's coming up at 6 o'clock right here on Good Morning Indiana. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break. It is 5:25. Welcome back. The St. Louis Zoo is welcoming its newest member. A male Asian elephant was born on Monday in the afternoon. The zoo's 23-year-old Asian elephant, Ronnie, gave birth to the baby boy just before 2 p.m. It's the first time in 27 years that the St. Louis Zoo has welcomed a male Asian elephant. 27-year-old Raja is the father. He was the first Asian elephant ever born at the zoo. That was back in 1992. And this calf is its 5th offspring. No word just yet on a name or when he'll make his public debut. Pretty exciting news there. All right, Todd, for anybody outside, any animals, any people, they're going to want to stay cool, kind of like the elephants do when they're outside, because it is another hot one here.
You know, Raphael, I think, said it best last week. He goes, let's go to the zoo and hang out with the penguins because that exhibit will be at least a lot cooler. But yeah, the other animals in the Indianapolis Zoo are going to be probably looking for some shade, as you may be doing as well later on this afternoon, because once again, we're getting into the hazy sunshine and also the very hot air. Temperatures will be in the 70s over the next few hours with the hazy sunshine. But once again, this afternoon, high temperatures going all the way up to the 90s. 92 in Indy today, about 94 in Lafayette. Heat index values anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees. Make sure you drink plenty of water if you are going to be outside for an extended period of time. The time now is 5:27. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us. Raphael joins us in just a few minutes.
Show today at 10 on RTV 6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
She drove through red lights and made her turn up here that threw both of us off the car.
Now at 5:30, at least 2 people hit as a car drove through a crowd of protesters in Bloomington. Witnesses are describing what led up to this incident.
And Lauren, those protesters demanding action after an apparent attempted lynching at Lake Monroe over this past weekend. The attack now going viral on social media. We have live team coverage this morning with the very latest from both cases in Monroe County. It is a busy Tuesday morning here on RTV6. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday, July the 7th. Lauren, good morning to you and to Todd.
Good morning, Raphael. Thanks for joining us. And Todd, we're going to toss things over to you to kick us off. And we know it's kind of been a lot of the same here across central Indiana, and it's not comfortable outside.
Yeah, you know, and unfortunately, it's not going to change for us here, Lauren, either, as we go forward over the course of the next few days. We're still in the heat, we're still in the humidity, and we still have those daily chance of storms. Temperatures this morning are sitting in the 70s, 72 in Bloomington, 74 in Indy, 71 in Peru, and in some northern locations, a lot of 70s there from Logansport through Kokomo to Anderson over towards Frankfort. And that is just about it as far as the temperature spread goes. So not much, because we're all in the same air mass. Dew points today right around 70 degrees. That's in the uncomfortable territory, basically the same as where it was yesterday. So we're not going to see any improvement as far as the humidity goes, and we don't have any rain out there right now. Yesterday morning we had a few storms, but those are off in Ohio this morning, and we'll build in those storms though this afternoon once again, as we will have isolated storms flaring up anytime after 2 o'clock with temperatures in the low 90s. Heat index values anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees. And we'll talk more about those storm chances not only for today but beyond, and let you know when a change occurs in this forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. It is 5:23, and let's get a check of traffic right now. This is our INDOT traffic camera on I-465, a view here at Ditch Road. You can see traffic is picking up both eastbound and westbound there on the north side, but there are no crashes or delays on the interstates right now around the metro area to slow down your Tuesday commute. Raphael.
At 5:33, let's get to the big news of the day. A frightening scene during a peaceful protest in Bloomington as a car drives into the crowd, hitting multiple people. Lauren, this incident happening as tense moments surface in response to an attempted lynching reported in Monroe County.
Begin our team coverage this morning with our own Alyssa Donovan. She joins us live down in Bloomington where this all happened. Alyssa, things look quiet this morning, but bring us back to last night.
You know what? It was a chaotic scene here last night, Lauren. Right around 9 p.m. is when this all occurred. We know at least 2 protesters were hit by that vehicle. Protesters had gathered right here outside the Monroe County courthouse in response to that incident that happened in Monroe County on the 4th of July. And then that vehicle sped through the intersection of 6th and Walnut Street. That's just on the corner here. And that's where hundreds of protesters had gathered. And then right around 9 o'clock, that's when that vehicle drove through the crowd. We spoke to one of the 2 people who were struck by the car, and he described the female driver revving her engine before accelerating and pushing through. The man we talked to was hanging off of the window of the car, and a woman ended up on the hood of the vehicle. Organizers of the peaceful protests say that this all could have been avoided.
If our prosecutor, Erica Oliphant, had already pressed charges, I'm not sure we would have even been out here today. So if she had done her job, we may have not been out here. But now this only fuels our fire even more. I promise you I'll be right back here tomorrow at 5:30 chanting even more, and I guarantee there's going to be a lot more people with me.
All right, Patrick, what can you tell the protesters and the community who are probably planning on coming back?
After the incident, people were running and trying to chase that car. The man we spoke to was luckily uninjured by the vehicle driving through. We do not know the condition of that woman who was also hit by the car, but we do know that Bloomington police were nearby. Bloomington Fire quickly responded to the scene as well. And of course, this incident is right now under investigation. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. And those protests last night in Bloomington were a response to an incident that was partially caught on camera over the weekend. It's where a man says he was attacked and almost lynched. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us this morning with more on what the alleged victim is saying and how the city of Bloomington is responding. Kelsey.
Held down against his will with his arms pinned behind his back. That's what Vox Booker says happened to him in a video that has now gone viral. He tells us the men also threatened to lynch him.
I am horrified, not surprised, but disgusted.
Booker says he and some friends went to watch the lunar eclipse on the 4th of July at Lake Monroe. On their way, a group of men informed them that the route they were taking to get to the public access beach was on private property. But then, as you can see in this video, things got hostile, leaving Booker with a minor concussion, abrasions, and patches of hair ripped out. Booker called the police and the Department of Natural Resources came, but no arrests were made at the scene. We spoke to city officials who say this is not okay.
My heart is breaking for our town. This is Bloomington. And I know people like to say that things like that don't happen in Bloomington. They do. They happen a lot.
It is not ironic that this would happen the weekend of Independence Day. We have to do the work in order for all people to truly be free.
The mayor of Bloomington also condemning what he saw in this series of videos that have now gone viral, being shared thousands of times. DNR says its law enforcement division is working with the Monroe County prosecutor to, quote, ensure lawful resolution. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Now to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak and its impact on our state. The state health department now reporting 330 new cases and 5 new deaths in Indiana. Both numbers are down from those reported both on Saturday and Sunday. More than 48,000 total cases have now been confirmed across our state, and more than 2,500 people have died from that virus. Testing continues to increase as well, reaching 526,000 Hoosiers. 9.2 of those tests have come back positive. The time now is 5:37 here on Good Morning Indiana, and health officials across the country and in our state are hoping that those big gatherings we saw during the 4th of July weekend will not lead to a spike in the number of coronavirus cases, similar to what was seen across the country following the Memorial Day weekend. Now, video from all around the country showed hundreds of people setting aside the social distancing guidelines. An Indianapolis doctor says if you were at one of those gatherings and find out that someone tested positive, he says this is what you should do right now.
If you do hear that somebody at that party was sick, you really need to take that seriously, and you may need to quarantine at home if you interacted with them.
Dr. Belcher also goes on to say if you begin to have COVID-19 symptoms, you should go to the doctor as soon as possible. Lauren?
Well, Raphael, the scope and the spread of the coronavirus is still spiking here in America. New records were set across several states as cases and hospitalizations rise, and some hospitals are once again reaching a tipping point. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is reporting from Washington.
The COVID-19 outbreak reaching a grim new milestone in the U.S.
The current state is really not good.
There are now nearly 3 million confirmed cases. More than 130,000 people have died. Over the holiday weekend, scores of people ignoring social distancing. And now some new hotspots rolling back reopening. Miami-Dade shutting down gyms and restaurants. In California, a handful of counties closing indoor dining, while LA hit a record high number of cases over the weekend.
Cases are surging, hospitalizations are increasing, and mostly this is all a reflection of a lot more community spread.
In Portland, Oregon, an Army vet says he was one of more than a dozen to test positive for COVID-19 after visiting a bar and grill in Vancouver, Washington.
Eventually, they said, we're going to have to move you into ICU. So that's when it was just everything. It's just the weight just came on top of me.
Leaders and lawmakers not immune to the spread. Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom testing positive as her city grapples with growing concerns about the virus.
We have seen the highest spike in numbers of people coming into our major hospital, Grady Hospital, which is the largest trauma center in the Southeast.
President Trump, meantime, facing harsh criticism from the medical community again for incorrectly attributing the spike in the states to more testing. The White House defending the president's assertion.
The president was noting the fact that the vast majority of Americans who contract coronavirus will come out on the other side of this.
The president, meanwhile, is moving forward with his 2020 campaign, holding a rally in New Hampshire next weekend. Now, masks will be provided, but not required. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Here at home, thousands of students in Brownsburg will be required to wear face masks during this upcoming school year. Here are the details. The Brownsburg Community School District announced that they will not be optional. They have to wear the mask. They must be worn at all times, with the exception of lunch and special instruction by the teacher. They're also offering an online option, but you must enroll by this Friday for that online option. You can find more on their semester plans and a link to that application on our website, theindychannel.com.
The time now is 5:41. Working for you, more business owners here in the heart of downtown Indianapolis are sharing their concerns with RTV6. We told you on Friday that some vendors at City Market describe the area as dirty and dangerous. They say trash, fights, and open drug use are common sights outside of the building. And now more downtown business owners say they've heard the same complaints from their customers.
I've had clients cancel because they said they drove around looking for parking and they thought it looked so disgusting. They said, sorry, we love you, but we can't come in there.
They don't want to come to my business right now because of how much traffic I got just sitting around my cart right now. I basically just homeless people, constantly soliciting them, and it goes beyond soliciting now.
So we took their concerns to IMPD. Captain Jerry Leary thinks that the pandemic has limited services that are usually available for people who are experiencing homelessness. He believes that could be playing a role in this problem.
As we see downtown open back up, I think we'll see that concentration kind of dilute itself as they have more resources to go to.
The department met with City Market leaders and some business owners last week. They encouraged them to add more lighting and hire more security. And a representative for the mayor's office said that they are working with IMPD and business owners to, quote, foster a safe, welcoming space for visitors and residents.
The time now is 5:42. The time to talk hiring Hoosiers. The Bowen Center is looking to fill 115 positions in northern and central Indiana. RTV6 profiled the center last month, and it just happens to be that the Bowen Center is the largest community mental health center in our state. Most of the job openings are for skills coaching. Right now, the entire application, interview, onboarding, and training process is being done virtually, so check out the Bowen Center. Now time to check out our very own Todd Clausen with a very humid forecast on this Tuesday. Good morning, TK.
Yeah, Raphael, good morning to you. Very muggy this morning as we get going out the door. As you can see behind me, the temperatures are going to warm very, very quickly. We're probably in the 70s through 8 a.m. But look at that. By 9 a.m., we're up to 81 degrees. By 11 a.m., we are up to 87 degrees. And most likely by the noon hour, we will push the 90-degree mark already. And as we work our way throughout the course of the remainder of the day, high temperatures will eventually get up to 92 degrees with the UV index being very high. If you are going to a pool, though, make sure you have the sunscreen on, you drink plenty of water, but also keep an eye on the sky because a few thunderstorms will build in later on this afternoon. We'll talk more about those coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The woman who called 911 on a black birdwatcher appeared in court. Coming up, the charges she's now facing for that viral confrontation.
Plus, a history-making quarterback is getting a history-making contract. Still ahead, the big commitment coming from the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Thank you for starting your day with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back after this brief commercial.
This has been Medifax for Microban 24.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 5:47. The woman that called police on a black man who was birdwatching in New York City's Central Park, she is now going to face criminal charges. Here are the details on this developing story. It was all captured on camera, as you may recall, after the man asked the woman to keep her dog on a leash, which is required under park rules in New York City. The woman, Amy Cooper, was then seen falsely telling 911 that that man was threatening her life. Now Manhattan's district attorney is prosecuting Cooper. She's facing a charge of falsely reporting an incident in the third degree. Cooper is now scheduled to be arraigned in October. Lauren?
It is 5:48, Raphael, and health experts say that contact tracing is facing challenges as we see more COVID-19 cases. They say health departments are having problems with people not responding to phone calls from tracers. For example, in Louisiana, only 59% of those who were tested positive for COVID-19 have responded to the calls. Dr. Lisa Fitzpatrick says that we've gotten to this point because the importance of coming forward right away with information wasn't communicated well to the public.
I think it's so critical for health departments to recognize they have to be creative, to build relationships in community. They have to partner with trusted messengers in the community to get this done.
Fitzpatrick says that some places have tried a heavy-handed approach, issuing fines and even subpoenas, but she believes moves like that will further deter people from working with health departments. Here at 5:41, let's check in with Todd to see what we can expect as we head out the door for our Tuesday. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, Lauren, good morning to you. Your Tuesday is going to be very similar to your Monday and very similar to your Sunday and very similar to your Saturday as this weather pattern just hasn't changed across central Indiana. We're starting off with the hazy sunshine. As you can see from downtown to the north, we don't have any visibility issues. It seemed like there was the possibility for maybe a little bit of patchy fog to develop this morning, especially in areas that saw the rainfall yesterday, but that hasn't happened. So that's good news as you have to take, if you have to take to the roadways. Temperatures are sitting in the 70s, right at 70 degrees in Greenfield as well as Connorsville and Martinsville. 72 in Bloomington, Tipton. 71 is the current temperature up in the Peru area. So as we work our way throughout the day today, once again, there'll be a period from about, I would say, 1 to 4 or 5 o'clock that temperatures are going to be up into the low 90s. Heat index values are going to be anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees throughout the day today. So it's hot. It's very humid. Try to limit your time outdoors throughout the afternoon hours. If you have to work out, do it this morning or do it a little bit later in the evening hours when the temperatures are just at least a little bit cooler. The rain chances, though, will ramp up as you would expect throughout the afternoon and into the evening. So that's something you'll have to contend with if you are going to be working out later on this evening, or if you do have a golf game or something like that planned. There will be the opportunity for some showers and storms as the day progresses. And the satellite radar picture this morning is pretty pretty quiet. There's no front coming through today. That's further off to our west. That will arrive on Thursday and Friday. But all our storms today are just going to be those garden variety pop-up storms in the peak heating of the day. They should start to develop anytime after 1 o'clock. Same drill as yesterday. They'll be around with heavy downpours and some lightning. There's no area I can pinpoint for you for these storms to pop up since there's no front coming through. They're just going to do it on their own, and they'll just kind of wander around. And then once the sun starts to set, these storms should start to fade away. So if you do have plans this evening, there's some spotty storms around early on, but then you should start to fade with temperatures that will be in the 80s if you're deciding to fire up the grill. Tomorrow, back up into the low 90s. Hazy sunshine giving way to some storms in the afternoon. That's the same for Thursday. It's Friday that we target for the showers and storms to become more numerous across the area. It's because that is the day when the front finally comes through. Once that front comes through, slightly cooler temperatures, but lower humidity as we head into the weekend and then eventually next week with high temperatures in the 80s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do have a traffic alert for drivers. Take a look here on the north side. We just checked with police, and they're still at the scene of this crash involving multiple vehicles at 30th Street and College Avenue here on the north side. So just be aware of that. If that is part of your commute, you may want to use other roads to reroute to avoid any delays like Central Avenue or Fall Creek Parkway North Drive. We'll continue to check in with them and let you know when things are all clear there on the north side. Aired 552, this year's Super Bowl MVP is now the highest paid player in the league's history with his new contract. Kansas City Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes signed an extension worth nearly $500 million. Yeah, the deal ties the 24-year-old to the Chiefs through the 2031 football season. The $450 million contract also makes him the richest athlete in any American team sport. He's one of the few players who's agreed to a contract extension this offseason, as COVID-19 concerns could bring a salary cap next year. Well, today is a national day to celebrate macaroni. Just after the break, we'll have the reason behind the popular noodle's name. Stay with us.
And Kim Crawford, part of Constellation Brands.
Welcome back. Raphael, are you hungry yet? Today is a day for pasta lovers. It is National Macaroni Day.
So, Lauren, I'm going to need a new calendar because I could have sworn today was Eat All Ice Cream Day since it's so hot. But I'll stick with macaroni and pasta. Love it. Contrary to, of course, popular opinion, the noodle did not get the name macaroni from its shape, but from the type of dough that it's made from. Macaroni is known for its versatility, as you know, from the classic favorite mac and cheese to all those different types of casseroles, soups, and salads. So there's lots of ways that you can choose to celebrate. In many places, the pasta even has its own festival. Who would have thunk that? Wow. I wonder if there's a macaroni mascot.
Oh, now we got to go to Todd. Todd, you're at home, though, so you're lucky you can run upstairs to the kitchen, whip this up, send some our way.
You know, I was just trying to think if I have any Easy Mac up in the pantry that I could just throw in the microwave really quick here, and in 30 seconds it's done. But I don't think I do. But that looks really, really good at any time in the morning. So hopefully we can get back to those macaroni and cheese festivals I know that we've had here in central Indiana in the past. Temperatures this morning are in the 60s and 70s. A live look from downtown to the north, hazy sunshine, and more of the same in the forecast for the day today. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. There's going to be the chance of a few isolated storms as well. Your high temperature gets up to 92 degrees, but heat index values today anywhere from 95 to 100. We'll break down the storm chances not only for today, but in the days ahead as well. Coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, you're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.